Well, good afternoon to you and welcome to another one of our sections where we're going to show you some of the hidden beaches and treasures of Barbados. We've done the train line in the past. I think that about a year ago we did the train line for you from up by Bath Beach, and we continuously did it bit by bit as we came down through Conger Bay, Martins Bay, then down into Glen Bernie itself where we are. And the only section of the actual trail line on the coast where you can't get to by car is the last piece we're going to take to you right now, and that would be the section from Glen Bernie over to Tent Bay. So this is our addition. This is our first official video since 2026 turn. So happy new year to each and every one of you all. Hope you're enjoying this year so far. Hope you're living in your serenity and your peace, and that you're not allowing life to influence you and the way you're living. Very big challenge, a continuous effort for that not to happen. So we know that, we live by it every day. However, we use the serenity prayer to help us. So as customary, what we'd like to do right now is start this video is serenity prayer, so we can turn you back in a direction where you can take in all the serenity and the peace and the absolute beauty, and then we'll start up our video. Jeanette is not here. This is one of her babies. Actually, the Hidden Beach of Treasures, the entire series, is her thought, as in many of the other things that she has created and come up with over the time since we've been together. We've gone plateaus after plateaus after plateaus with our ideas, and there are many more to come. Not let any cats out of the bag, but we're going to let you know there's a lot more happening behind the scenes and you may be aware of, even more than we're aware of. So hope you'll enjoy this video, and hope you also have a look at some of the other sections in this actual playlist on YouTube, which is the Hidden Beach of the Treasures of Barbados. Quite beautiful areas that many of you may not have seen, or many of you may not be able to get to. But as we said already, our journey is about showing you the beauty of Barbados through our eyes. So we're going to do that as best we can, so that those that can no longer get out there and do these adventures, or who are unable to do them, period, or who are not on the island, who are somewhere else in the cold, just wishing we were somewhere warm, hopefully for our next trek, which should take about approximately an hour, you will feel the peace and the serenity and the warmth and the tropical environment that we live in. Our videos are not edited, so don't look for a short version with highlights. You're going to be doing step by step. That's how we walk our journey, step by step, whether it's live or whether it's recorded on a 4K broadcast. And that is what we're going to do as well this afternoon. So not the ideal conditions, because we would prefer to have been low tide. We prefer the wind to have been lighter. However, these are what we're faced with today. As we promised to bring you Barbados as it is. We don't wait for glorified time. This is coinciding with our Q preview that we're going to be doing this afternoon, just up the hill from here. So we thought we would nip two things in one, and that is utilize the gasoline that we're spending to come to St. John to do this as well. So we're capturing this, and then we're going to go up and capture hopefully a live preview of today's community or tomorrow's community community, live or 4K. As I said before, it'll be step by step. That's the way we do it. So we're going to turn our attention now. We're taking some of the beautiful scenery out here. We're doing this in 4K resolution, so you can really enjoy the beauty of it. Just to give you an idea of the time right now, I think it's somewhere around 1 o'clock, approximately 1:15 or somewhere in that kind of time frame. Maybe not that late. No, sorry, 12:15, somewhere in that time frame. That'll give you an indication of where the sun is. Remember, we are in January, and therefore the sun is very much to the south of what it normally would be. So we're not expecting any intense sun directly in our face as we're walking, because it'll be slightly to our left as we start our actual walk itself. So serenity prayer, if you'd like to join us, please do. All others will be back through in a few moments. If you've never heard this before, we encourage you to listen to it and then say it a few times yourself until you grasp the understanding of it. The understanding of it basically just tells you that you're responsible for yourself and your actions and your demeanor and your attitude to others and your way of respecting others, etc. Nothing to do with anything else which is out of our control. The day that we can leave that in God's hands, then is the day we free ourselves of unnecessary weight that we take wrong, or responsibilities that we think we bear. So this is the serenity prayer. Please join us if you'd like to. As I said before, all of us will be back in a few moments. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Your will, not ours, be done. Amen. Absolutely stunning and breathtaking Glen Bernie. This is also a really good place to talk a little bit about the erosion, which we're going to see en route, which we'll talk a little bit more about as we're walking, as we always tend to do. However, it also is a perfect place to demonstrate land slippage in this island. I remember in my teens, I'm going to bring us out on a wider vision so we can enjoy a little bit more of it. In my teens, we used to come to parties here, summer parties here at the beach house. It was located right here. This house was level, it used to be up here. That is where it was on this level here. However, as you can see, what has happened in this area, which is evident throughout this entire section coastline, is water comes down from the hills, bags in areas, and then slips the actual land with it because of the weight of the water, etc. So that is obviously the rainwater we're talking about right now. The erosion will be on the seaside, but train tracks are evident just in the water's edge here, maybe about 12-15 feet from the shoreline itself. They will pop up at low tide. You don't see where the vertical beams are at the moment, but they're all under there. You would see that at low tide, and you also see on other areas as well, sometimes at high tide, but mainly at low tide. That is where the actual train used to run years ago. But the land slippage out here has been intense, and over the years we have been checking it continuously, and it's just slipped and slipped and slipped. The road they had rebuilt coming into here from the actual road that runs from Bashbo over to Martins Bay, they've just redone it again, or part of it again, because the time they've done it before, although they put in a lot of set of gabions and stuff, they were all washed out, so they've had to redo it again. Beautiful road in this section. The other areas get into here a little bit rough, and as you would know as well, and bumpy. And, you know, beautiful Martins Bay. Sorry, beautiful Glenburnie. This is where we stopped last time. This is where we have to leave the actual coastline slightly, and this is because of all of the erosion that's happened a little further on these slippage areas. You can't get around in the front there, the water section where we would love to go, and there's no beaten path that goes in that area because it's continuous slippage and breaking off up here. So no one has really pushed for a road going through there. We're going to use the hiker's trail to get us right back onto the coastline itself, and then we're going to go from there. But in the meantime, we're going to carry through the country area, or not the country, but the inland area over here in St. John. Remember, we are in the parish of St. John. Up in the top there, the highest elevations you're seeing is where you'll find Hackton's Cliff. There are two noted areas at Hackton's Cliff where lookout points. One is called Monkey Jump, and the other one is around by Malvern itself, which is what is known better as the Hackton's Cliff, because the other one is very difficult to get to, actually pretty much impossible to get to right now, and extremely dangerous because it's secluded. One road in, one cart road in, one cart road out, and quite a ways in. So I've done that before with Jeanette. I've shown you also photos and also a video from there as well. Videos there in the past from the very beginning of our journey. Very short videos, maybe about 2 to 3 minutes, but you still can get a look from it. So if you put in Monkey Jump, Hackton's Cliff, you will find it the Edge Hill side of Hackton's Cliff. We have it noted as Malvern and Edge Hill. There are two different ways we mention Hackton's Cliff for you. Little lambs out here, very much country still, country effects. You find a lot of sheep in this general area. Sheep and of course cows as well, and goat. Alright, so our path takes us down this area through a water drain section. Please be careful when you're making these hikes. You're going to find a lot of these huge crab holes. This is a tiny one. This is still also a tiny one, but there are many of them that are actually under the grass, so you've got to be real careful because you may not actually see them. So be wary when you're walking. Please keep an eye down. Even if you're on the beaten path, you can see how the sour grass actually grows across itself and then interlocks. So there are many areas that they may be underneath that have been covered where there's been no crabs for a while. So just bear in mind that when you're walking on the cliffs and stuff, keep an eye on where you're putting your foot. There are a lot of cracks and fault lines all along the eastern, southeastern and northeastern coastline. So please be very, very wary when you're walking. I'm going to give you a second or two as I'm walking and let you take in this beautiful, beautiful area, although we're a little bit off of the actual coastline itself. Check this out and I'll let you listen to it as well. Here we go. You can hear the thundering effects of the sea conditions out here. We have done many vlogs from, I would say, halfway on here down into Tent Bay itself. I don't think we've ever done anything in this general area. If we have, it wouldn't have been live because signal right where we are, null and void. This is definitely a black spot for sure, or dark spot as we like to term it as. Wouldn't get any signal in this section whatsoever. So we're doing sort of like a offbeat. It is well hiked route. A lot of hikers come on this train line through the Bath area, starting from Consett section, going right down into Beltane. However, today we are doing another section of it. We've done a lot of different sections coverage for you, but this area we have not done before on live. As I said, no signal in this area itself. Be wary when you're taking some of these routes and treks, because you're on sour grass. Remember, sour grass does tend to slide quite easily, so if you step on it on the outer, I don't really know what you will call it. I guess the outer pieces of it, which is like leaves, they strip away from the actual main stem itself and can put you on the ground pretty quickly. So just be careful again for that type of terrain, and be wary of where you are. My wife knows exactly where I am right now. She's not with us, unfortunately, because she's at home keeping our baby quiet, because our baby just got spayed. So we're trying to keep her quiet, but as I said, we're trying to do two things in one, so that's why she's not here today. Just making her apologies for not being here, because I know she is in spirit and heart. As we always do when we're vlogging, we make, okay, so again, just be wary. This section looks all firm and nice, however, as you'll see, it does slip off really quickly, so step over embankments like that rather than actually walking through them. That would be our suggestion for sure. And you know, she knows where I am. This is what we do whenever I'm vlogging, secluded and quiet areas. Is to let her know exactly where I am, give her a time frame on how long it will be before I check in, and then when I get to the end, I check in with her within that time frame, or at least get her in that time frame, let her know where I am, if I've completed it or not, and then she obviously will be a lot more peaceful to know that I've got through where I was going. And I'm not talking about anything about being interfered with or any crime situation. We're talking about in general. I just explained to you about all the crab holes, all the faults, and all the areas that you can find difficulties in. There's no one out here. There probably will be no one out here on a Thursday walking, unless you get the occasional fisherman or person from around the area. Otherwise, we won't see anybody at all today, no matter what time of day you come through here, unless they're hikers, which will generally be on a holiday, in school vacations, or on a weekend. So very unlikely to see anyone here. So the mere fact that nature could put an obstacle for me, may have thrown me down or injure me, that way then my wife would know exactly where I am. Doesn't hear from me, she put out the alerts, get someone to come and check on me, or whatever the case may be. So that's how it is. But we'll keep looking back from time to time. You will see a lot of structures where there were homes. There was a home here up to 2 or 3 years ago, gone. That's because all the slippage, everything slips in this area. This is completely slipped out, and this is obvious along this entire coastline area. But it's interesting that we're able to show you it at this moment. Right, so this is the off section. There is no path, no beaten path down the water's edge. Now, we have tried it in the past, walking along the water's edge at low tide. However, the amount of rocks and stuff that are in front of these cliff areas here, we'll explain a little bit more about that later on. Probably won't remember to tie it in with this conversation, so you'll hear it anyhow. And that would be because of all the rocks and stuff up there, very dangerous to even tread. So we just stay away from it and we follow the actual path. Now today, I'm bareback, bare short pants, but hikers on. So I'm being cautious of things like this. Cat tide will come up anywhere, can pop up anywhere. If we'd had a lot of rain, this would be mulched completely out. You wouldn't see that, and you would walk through that. If you have on short pants, you would understand what would happen to you. Because I don't hike in long pants. I don't hike in long sleeve shirts. The way I like to hike is nature. I like to have off my shirt, have off, or have on a pair of baggies, and I like to go because I like to feel everything. I like to feel the sensations of the wind on me. I like to feel the natural grass brushing me as well. I don't like to have on long pants for these kind of hikes, although they're probably the way to go. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Wear protective gear when you're doing these kind of hikes for sure. Anyhow, these are the reasons why I have a few scars on my legs and stuff, because hard air's down here, so hard air's feels. Not an old time saying, I'm sure you know what that means as well. Beautiful, beautiful. So, as you'll see, very lonely, very secluded, way behind anything else. No one will see us here, no one will know we're here. And this is why when you're doing hikes like this here, you should always have someone with you, number one. And if you don't, because like what I like to do is get out here sometimes when you have the opportunity. When Jeanette travels, I tend to do a lot of these back hikes and stuff, because I like to come out in these areas by myself and feel nature and get the sensations that I currently am feeling, which is just beautiful. This has been an absolute blessing to be here with you today. Now these areas, completely different when they're wet. I would not recommend that you do any of these hiking trails when it's been raining, because out here is base, a lot of the base out here is not only mud, it's also a lot of clay and chalk and mixed up in it. So when it gets wet, none of the hiking boots or whatever you put on are going to have deep enough tracks. They're going to keep you steady and safe on the tracks. So unless you know the area really well, I definitely recommend, or we would recommend, that you wear proper hikers. First of all, take someone that you know from the area, or wait for dry conditions. Do not do this here in wet conditions, or you will definitely regret it. I can promise you that. As I said already, very lonely, very secluded, no one is around. Beautiful little lean-tos. We've actually done vlogs from here many times, so you'll probably have come across them over time. If you've been visiting our site and walking the journey with us, you would have seen a lot of this here. We're going to take you to where we like to start most of our live vlogs from when we're here doing it, and that'll be at the top of this incline here. And I want to take you up and show you why we like to start it here, especially about the sunrise when the sun's coming up. Rocks sliding out like crazy under these big hikers I have on, so again, word of caution. But we're going to take you up here. It's going to be windy. You probably can get some interference in the microphone, but we're doing the best that we can. So that's all we do. We practice our serenity. But I want to show you the under areas that we didn't get to, and I can do that from on top of this here. Beautiful mung. Alright, so you see there are no tracks. There are small little ones that are in this section just directly in front of us. Yes, we've been on inside there as well with that little beach. We're not going to go there now, but we have been on by that. But you can't get from there up to Glen Bernie on the actual trail itself. I say it can. I guess there are a few that have done it, but it's not something that I would enjoy doing. It'd be very uncomfortable, risky for the equipment, and also for myself. So we're going to do what? We're going to skirt the areas of danger and the areas that are termed as safe. Well, I want to draw your attention to this rock here, which we've done before. As you can see, there are some pillars on top of it. Yeah, there's some pillars on top of it. Sorry, but I took a brief thing because I saw a notification pop up and I couldn't remember if we turned off our notifications. I don't want to get interrupted on the video, so sorry if there's a little click just now, but that will all be done in one if it's all one video. We want to draw attention to that rock and those 4 boulders on top. They are not being placed here by man. That's erosion at its finest for you. So when this whole area here where these hard rocks are, or these coral heads as they're better known are, was all soil similar to what we were walking on, because all up there was soil originally. Train line used to run in that water area in general. That was all soil originally, even probably before the train line. However, over the years, the island has risen. We are a coral island and we are growing and we are rising. So therefore, the erosion is then taking place on the actual coastline itself. So leaving just the main coral heads itself. So that is quite amazing. That's a caterpillar or a big tractor has come and lifted those 4 boulders on top. Or I could have done it myself personally as an Olympian, but no, I did not, I can assure you, and no tractors or anything came and did that. So that's one of the areas. Beaches down here, you are going to find any sand. These are going to be all rock beaches. We talk a little bit more when we get to them, but I want you to have a look here. I'm going to go up on top of this rock here. Just give me a second to get my bearings up because the wind's pretty strong. And I want to give you a 360, well, not a 360, a circle of love. I hope the audio is okay. We are hoping, you know, we're just going along with it and hopefully everything will be smooth. But here's a circle of love for you. Enjoy this beautiful scenery. Here we go. Absolutely stunning. All right, let's walk. Point up at the very end, the furthest point we can see up, we call it Savannah. You will see that there from St. Mark's Church. You can also see that there when you're driving on the East Coast. You'll see a palm tree, a coconut tree in the end. That would be that location there. That is, just inside of that, you'll see where the land goes in. That is Concept Bay. Then we get a point there that's just to the, I would say to the west of Congo Bay. And then we work our way into Martin's Bay, which is just up there in the distance where you're seeing some homes directly center of the camera. That's in the far distance, of course. And then you will work your way along Congdor Bay and then across into Glen Bernie to where we presently are. And in the other direction, we're going to show you that is Tent Bay, just not the rocks itself, just prior to the rocks you're seeing, first set of rocks. That, when I say first set of rocks, I mean the ones that are coming way out in the ocean. That would be, of course, Tent Bay, right? And that would be on this side. Atlantis Hotel, you can barely make it out from here. Hopefully we'll get down there in peaceful time. We'll be able to show you that, of course. Andromeda Gardens is nestled in that giant area, dead center of the camera itself. And then we're going up to the Hacton's Cliff that we talked about. You'll see a grove of trees dead center of the camera again. That is the lookout from Malvern Lookout. And then if you work ourselves up to where you're seeing a point that curves around, not up the coconut tree, but before we get to that, that is Monkey Jump up there in all the Casuarina Grove itself. That gives you another landmark as well to where we are. All right, so making my way back down. Remember, out here, this coral has little peaks and pieces and sharp edges all over the place. So when you're walking out here, you don't want to be in a pair of just general software. I'm not saying software can't work to stay on the actual general track, but if you want to go off your track, as we like to do and explore a little bit, you're going to need something that is very sturdy underfoot, that can repel the sharp edges and also protect your ankles and your instep area, because you're prone to fall into those small holes or crevices out here when you're walking without realizing it. So just to protect yourself, we definitely recommend a pair of good, strong hikers. I mean, original hikers, not some. I mean, you can buy anything, as I said, you can wear anything, but if you have a few funds, pay the extra $1, get some proper hikers. When you're coming to Barbados, I can assure you they'll last for years. And if you are an explorer, you're going to get your money's worth for sure. All right, we would generally not come down here in a live video because we lose signal as soon as we come around this cliff here. You would have seen up on top of the Hacton's Cliff, just up there, just beyond that big rock where we were standing, just behind that would be one of the cell towers, and there's another one further down. However, it would be very dangerous, or not dangerous, it'd be difficult for us to get anything if we start to go around the corner here. But we want to show you as much as we possibly can. We have done all out here before on videos, so you can find it in our YouTube channel. All you need to do is do a little searching. Remember, we have our map and our information as to how to utilize that map up on our Google storage area. We have links up in all of our media platforms, so we regularly put them up, so that people who have not been able to have a look through our platform will be able to find it. So you may have seen it last week or the week before. We would have put it up then. Just be careful coming down here. All of here is made up just at the front edge that we're going to show you in a few minutes. So it's just rocks, piece of coral stone, rocks, clay, mud, silt, all meshed together. You can see how the color has changed now to orange, which would be the clay effect. So this is like glass when out here is wet. I am using one hand to hold the gimbal, one hand to hold on the rock and steady myself, because these rocks have a way of slipping under your foot when you least expect it. Obviously I've learned that through trial and error and through many falls in the past. Even sometimes when I thought I was rock solid, bam, I've been down. So it happens. So I'm just talking from sort of experience and not hearsay. I'm gonna let you know you don't want to fall out here. Any fall out here on this coral, your cut is going to take forever to heal. Coral has a way, I don't know if it's the bacteria or what is in it, but coral has a way, or live enzymes or whatever, of infecting and getting infected, and also taking forever to heal. So you don't want to get any cuts out here. Remember, most of the stuff out here you're stepping on is Barbados itself. It's not going to move, so trust me, it's a lot harder than you. Alright, so these beaches all over here, all of them underneath are covered in sand. Well, above the waterline, of course. However, you're not going to see it. And that's because on top of that are layers and layers and layers of rocks. We thought just now about the erosion on this coastline. We thought originally about land slippage and about erosion. But the erosion side of it, we're going to show you why over here it erodes so terribly and why it has done so over the years, just by drawing a reference to the actual face of this cliff that is actually protecting the inland from it. You can see there's no solid coral masses here. If there is a solid coral mass, it's going to end up like those. It's going to end up like rocks in the middle of the water, because all of the weaker matter is going to be eaten out either by the rain or assisted by the rain, but by the sea itself. And as you can see, without any major coral formation here, you can see what's happening. The walls again eroded and the rocks are going on the beach. That is why all of these rocks and coral stones are out here, and that is because of the erosion that's taken place on the cliff itself has made them fall into the water edge area. You can see that very clearly from that there, how it slips out. Very, very easy. You can see someone has a bench perched up there. Look at how right on the edge that is. So I don't know if I would be very comfortable sitting down there. Certainly not if I in Bass had a drink or two. I definitely wouldn't. But beautiful, beautiful terrain. I mean, breathtaking. See the rocks up closer here, the 4 big rocks on top of that there, like boulders. I am not sure the actual coral, a part of the coral mass. I am assuming it would be. If not, I think it would have moved with the when the seas were coming over there and eroding it originally. I'm pretty sure that would be. But either which way, quite unique and different for sure. But beautiful, beautiful areas. You could walk on the beach section. You will see now why we say you can't walk from here to Glen Bernie. You would have to go up through these kind of rock areas, and you can imagine how difficult this is going to be to walk on. I mean, it would be perilous, it would be very dangerous, and it really won't be necessary, as you can go through slightly inland and get to see the same thing on the above side. You can't get to see rock formations, but you could come from Glen Bernie and almost walk to the rocks over here as well. We are taking you, as I said, as close to the water's edge as possible. You can see the fishermen's and travellers' routes out here. However, the main hiker's route is the one that we came off of, and we came off of that so we could bring you right down here and show you the little hidden areas and little treasures that many people will not see even when they're on a hike. So hopefully you'll be enjoying that with us. This will let you see the surrounding area. We want you to feel as though you're here. So I'm going to keep quiet for a second, breathe this in. This serenity and peace is for you. Stunning. I'm going to show you a little something more that will demonstrate the erosion and problems down in this area here. These are, by the way, reinforced, what were reinforced bridges for the actual train when it used to run. Remember, it couldn't go up elevation, so you can see on the flat. So it pretty much skirted the coastline through this area here. This would be one of the platforms, and then it would have continued from here around those rocks or over those rocks, depending on how much of the land has gone since those days, over to the Glen Bernie area and then upward as well. But you can see the kind of erosion that's taking place over here. Last time I was here, I hopped, skipped and jumped, and that was about, I would say 2 years ago. I hopped, skipped and jumped and went right across here because this rock was perched up in there, so it was easy for me to hop across. Today we're gonna have to go around, sadly, but you can see the kind of holes and stuff that are out here. Sadly, some people use the holes out here as a dumping ground. I've seen a mattress brought out here onto these beautiful cliffs in this natural, lovely place, and dumped in one of these holes. So that happens, I guess. Humans, you know, everyone lives their own life and they do as they are. So again, waterways, so of course can we have slippage and stuff. You can see the erosion that's coming down through here. You can see the erosion that takes place here as well. When we get rains up in Hackton's Cliff area or anywhere across that ridge and stuff, this is the only way for it to come down. So you can appreciate that it's going to be coming down here in fury. All right, so we're walking without a route ready to walk on. There are some around the place, but as I said, we want to get you as close as possible, and to do so it means taking a couple of steps across terrain that we cannot see under us. All right, these are the kind of things we're warning you about. That is, again, the small crab hole. That's not a big crab hole. That's a small one. There's a big crab hole. I could pretty much put my foot in as a size 10. Pretty much be swallowed in some of the huge crab holes you can find. Again, underlaying under the grass. Hence the reasons why we warn you. Remember, we're going to be showing you the beauty of Barbados, but like any conscious person that's trying to show you a rose bush, it says, go and check that rose out, smell it. And if they don't tell you, well, be careful of thorns, well, they're really not doing what they're supposed to do. So we're going to make sure that anytime that we show you anything and there's any kind of alerts that we believe are cautionary alerts, we're going to let you know of them, no matter what it is. So that's how we walk the journey, because we want you to be able to walk it comfortably with us as well. Another vantage point here, looking again, yes, we came up on this higher ridge because we want to show you how the beach comes right around here and how there's no sand again. Clear evidence. Now you're going to see a lot of litter, garbage, I would say garbage, along these areas, and that's because everything that is washed into the sea. Again, we're going to say about the drainage area from up in the hills. Anyone that discards anything up in the hills has heavy rains, it's going to wash down into the ocean. that will go from a long concept bay the whole way down and drift in this direction. And also you get a couple of ships or boats that pass here that may discard some stuff as they're passing, so that would again contribute to what we're seeing down here. But you're going to see us all along the southeast and eastern coastlines. Well, not all along, but on a few of them. A lot of these places are cleaned up in our cleanup campaign, annual cleanup campaign, Clean Up Barbados. However, this place would generally not be in that grouping of cleaning, because you can see why it's very difficult to get to, and if you do collect anything down here, getting it out is a concern. It's going to be heavy, cumbersome and difficult, of course. Once again, we're going to try and stay as close to the water's edge as possible, because we want to show you things that you would not generally see. You know, we do know that hikers come through here very often, but we do also know that very few of them venture down here, because when they're in an organized group of hikes, generally they will stay in a little more safe environment just to protect everyone they're with. So as you can appreciate, there are going to be different levels of conditioning, physical conditioning, and also of ages as well. So people are going to be taking that into consideration when you're coming up with groups, whereas by ourselves we can push ourselves to our limit without worrying about it. Absolutely beautiful. A name comes to mind when we're out here, and that's Julian Hunt. I don't know if you ever heard of Julian Hunt, but years ago he was known as the Bajan Beach Ranger. Years ago he used to do hikes all along here, very, very popular with visitors at that time. And the visitors were small numbers, not big numbers, because in those days we're talking about maybe 30 years ago, somewhere in that time frame, 25, 30 years ago. We used to have visitors here, of course, but not in the volume that we have now. So you would have found little pockets of 6, 8, 10, 12 going with him. Very, very popular hikes, because he used to carry through nature areas that no one else used to go to in those days. So that name comes to mind whenever we're out in nature, and we like to pay our respects to him. We also know that his family, whether distant or immediate, used to own the land in Foster Hall area. So again, that's another reason why his name comes to mind, and also the Williams family. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You can see some of the fishermen, fisher folks making their way out to the vantage points, depending on sea conditions. You see how far out they can go, but today a little bit wild, not big, but a little bit wild because of the winds and stuff we're experiencing. So I don't think they will go as far as they generally would go, but you will find fishermen perched on all these rocks on occasions, depending on the sea conditions, of course, and again tides as well. Tides play a major factor in that as well. Alright, so once again, be caution you as you're underfooting when you're doing these kind of hikes and stuff, or if you're doing this trail, if we have sort of like whet your appetite and you decide, well, I really gotta go and see what it's like, well, you know what to do. Just be extremely cautious. There are a couple of little path areas that we're following, not very heavily traveled, but we want to do what we can right on the coastline. So when we're doing live vlogs, we generally would not come this far down, because it's very, very difficult to get a signal down in here. Again, we're not going to go much further here. We have to go back a little bit inland, but I just want to let you see another beautiful point here. I want to give you what we call the Journey 246 photo opportunity. 20 seconds to breathe this in. Here we go. Right, that's your first opportunity there, photo op. We haven't done many of them recently, but we haven't done any vlogs recently, so that pretty much is the reason why you need an excuse for it. Alright, so as I said, we have to track back a little bit here, but we want to share with you everything, the beauty of Barbados through our eyes. We didn't want to come down here and take you across the normal footpath, because then you would not have seen what we're seeing here right now. Alright, we're going to make our way back up. You can see someone else has already done that through here. We have done this through areas here without any path many times in the past. You know, a little bit worrying sometimes, because you can get wasps or you can get beehives and stuff too. I mean, it's not just centipedes that you have to worry about in these areas. I think bees and wasps could be a challenge as well too, so you just have to be careful. Not that I've seen any beehives or wasps when we've been walking through here, but it could happen quite easily. As you can see, we're skirting right on. There's really no way of getting around that bush that's there, or or the actual beach section itself. But we want you to share us with, we want to share this with you, because remember, some of our family and friends that have walked with us through the years from the very beginning, or even starting to walk now with us, are unable to walk or have limited mobility. So therefore, we not only share this with the able-bodied, we also share it with those who will never get a chance to see out here. So we bring them with us, and we, as you're doing step by step, they walk by our sides, they keep our company, they give us their spirit and energy, and that is how we do what we do. It's called the Journey 246. I don't know if anybody had an opportunity to read our profile this morning. Please have a read of that. It is, I would say, 100% accurate. I think most of you will agree with that. It is a really big journey, a journey we'd be asked to undertake as a couple, as a married couple, as friends, as people who express respect for each other, etc. So this is a part of it. So we want you to see everything that you can. Absolutely beautiful. We have a little bit of cloud cover, which is making it nice. Not that we would have had intense glare here looking in the direction we are or behind us, because the sun, as I said, has moved towards the south now for this time of the year. That's why the daylight hours are much less here, and also all over the world. So that's the reason for daylight saving time. Unfortunately, it throws us off, because a lot of our friends and family, as you can appreciate, are in the daylight saving time areas. So right now, they wake us up or we wake them up, depending on who calls who and what time of day. All right, again, waterway. So this is something you have to hop across when there's rain, because this is going to be full of water. Everything's right up the banks in the pass. And again, be careful, because as you're walking up and down there, as you can appreciate, it's going to be a little bit crusty at the moment. So just be wary of it. So Hiking Association, thank you very much. I'm sure this is, you all have trimmed off this here and stuff. So thank you for what you're doing on the coastlines of our island. Hopefully some of the folks that walk with us will take the opportunity to walk with you or hike with you when they come here, because we know that you all do some amazing stuff. So hopefully everyone will have a look for them. It's Barbados Hiking Association. Check them out, join them, enjoy yourselves. If you walk this area out of what we call our tourist season, winter season, or however you want to refer to it as, you will find heavy overgrown. Maybe not this one, because there are quite a few, or this section, because there are quite a few people that do walk this area from Tent Bay up to Glen Bernie, etc. But from Glen Bernie to Bath can sometimes be virtually, I can't say impossible, because nothing is really impossible. Anyhow, as in what we're doing, because you can always work your way around it. There's enough land that you can get around it, but very, very difficult to do, because a lot of the areas get overgrown. And as you would notice in our vlogs, our videos, or if you have walked this area, you will notice that the bush that overgrows the section where you're walking close to the actual cliff edge leaves you maybe with a foot at the most of cliff edge in a sheer drop off. Some of that foot may actually be hidden under grass where there's no wall on it or no cliff face on it. So you've got to be real careful, very, very careful. Have a look at our vlogs, our videos, if you would like to check it, Hidden Beaches and Treasures. Have a look at the train line, see if it's something you'll be able to do, and then come and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful Barbados. This is a new piece of work here. I'm not sure who put this bench here. Last time we were up here, we sat on a massive log. It was right here. Just beautiful log that we washed in, massive log. However, this area, especially as we get closer to Tent Bay, has become more and more popular with a lot of visitors and a lot of locals who come and walk up here and watch the sunrise from this point. We may not venture any further, but from here, and as you'll see where we're going now, it's just beautiful. So this is where you'll find people that will sit. As I said, it was a big, massive plank of wood across here, a tree limb that washed over. However, this wooden bench, nice. We're going to take a sit on it for a minute. I'm going to let you enjoy this here, give you a 180, and this is where you can come and sit if you can make it. Have a look at the other direction from Atlantis Hotel, Tent Bay, and see if it's something you can do, which would be a shorter, maybe not quite as challenging, but still challenging. But you can have a look at that and see if that's where you come from. If so, you make it to this point, look what you're taking in. Can I use the term goodness gracious? Because that's all I can say right now. Absolutely breathtaking. Alright, on we shall go again. Yes, I know that this may not be the style of video that some people may not appreciate, and that's because they want to see highlights and just the little spots of this area and that area, whereas ours are going to be complete in depth and concentrated, because we want to bring you here. We don't just want to show you here, we actually want to bring you here, and that's a big difference. Right, we're going to go down another track here, like see though, because they want to get a little closer to the water's edge. I know a lot of the guys from Bashba. I surfed Bashba for many years, and a lot of the guys I've hung out with, I know them on a very personal basis, especially some of the fishermen as well too, because I've been doing a lot of hiking in these areas, so a lot of them know me, especially early morning ones around sunrise. So I'm not sure if you'll see any of them today that we know, but if we do, of course we can do what we do anyhow with everyone we see. That's to spread the love and cheer that we have to give. That's what's put into us to give, and that's what we do. Alright, so we're going a little bit off again. Again, we could have taken a much easier hiker's route. So remember, what we're on is not what you would have to walk on if you were a little more if you're a little unsteady. This is just because we want to bring it right up to the extreme section itself. A lot of erosion has taken place here since I last came out here with Jeanette. That's, I don't know, maybe time flies, huh? Because we were just looking at the same hidden beaches and treasures, the one we had done on the train line. I realized it's over a year ago that we did that. Doesn't feel like a year, but October was a year. So time does fly. So maybe about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, was when the last time we actually walked this area here. But we can see there's quite a bit of erosion on the water line as well. Something that's not very appealing to the eye, although it's functional, not appealing to the eye at all, and that's these PVC tubings that are being buried in these natural coral heads. Fishermen are using them so they can throw multiple rods or throw the rod, and then they can relax and play it easy and put their attention in other areas while the rod is securely held with any fish that they may catch. However, cosmetically, it's a shame to see this here, because these are beautiful areas, and when you're seeing this white PVC tubing sticking up, not something that we endorse at all. Something we're seeing all over, and something we mention every time we're walking, but it's really not that nice at all. I think it's just destroying nature. A friend of ours, or a person that walks to us, yes, a friend of mine, a close friend of mine years ago, mentioned this morning, it was like littering the beautiful nature of Barbados, and that's basically what it's doing. I know the functionality of it, but I don't, you look at it for yourself and you should be the judge. Beautiful area here. Now you can see all of the cliff section here as we were walking down towards Atlantis Hotel. Is all just shearing off and dropping off, and when there's no growth in the front section, that will tell you how much of the coastline is actually gone over the years, and how often it goes, because there's no growth on the actual face itself. Where you see growth on the lesser angles, or I should say more leveled angles, you'll see the growth all along here. You're not going to see it on those faces because they're continuously slipping. We can show you more of that as we make our way in that direction. Again, just be wary as you're walking. Injury out here is a serious situation. Nothing can get to you. Person can get to you, but no vehicles can get to you. So you do not want to incur injury on this section or any of these areas where you're exploring. We're not worried to go on this beach because, again, it just moves all under your feet. There's no balancing rock here. Everything here is moving. So whatever you step on, it will move. And also, you can get tricked as well by clay stones, which you're going to find especially in Martins Bay underneath their cliff to the windward side of their cliff, which will be the eastern side. They have a lot of clay that looks like coral heads, brown coral heads. It's not, it's clay. Step on them, I don't care what shoes you're wearing, you're going to go down. I can tell you that for personal experience, because I have some really good hikers, and I've been down at least twice up there in Martins Bay already in the past. No matter how careful I am, it just happens. Alright, here we go with the hiker's route again. So you can see what we have come through, what we have walked through. On majority of this here, we've been on the hiker's route. That's because it stayed right close into water's edge. However, as it veered in, we went down onto areas which were not regularly trodden. So you can see it's much better walking. However, still be careful, because even in areas like this here, you may not realize it, but there are coral heads embedded under here that will be under the grass. So if you were walking with a sleepy foot, as I do, you're liable to kick it and trip. So just be real careful when you're walking. there are coral heads all around them. Trust me, they're not moving. They're parts of Barbados. Some of these here are parts of Barbados. This is just a beautiful area. What I'm going to do is for the next couple of seconds or minute maybe, I'm going to keep quiet, let you hear the power of the ocean and let you hear these rocks rolling. If it has a sound by itself, it will put you to sleep. Maybe you get a little closer so you can hear them closer. We'll see how that goes. So here we go. Alright, we can go down on the beach a little more so you can hear these rocks better, because this sound here is a sound that's as serene as the waves are gently coming in on the west coast when you hear these rocks rolling. So we keep quiet for a few minutes. But listen, look how difficult they are to walk on. There's really no consistency. It just keeps slipping all over under you. So here we go. Let you listen to this section up here. Here we go. So as you can hear, that's another sound that in Barbados calms you and makes it peaceful. So you have the whistling frogs on the night, you have the gentle waves, rough or gentle waves that are breaking. You're going to also have the trade winds through casuarina trees, etc. They're just without even talking about birds and stuff, but you also will have this as well, or especially over here. Listen to these rocks. Let me give you one more thing. Hold on a sec. Here we go. Brought you on this angle here so you could actually see waves as it went up as I start pulling back the rocks, because the actual visualization of the sound is just as impressive as well. Quite lovely. Alright, back up onto trail roads. Alright, again, it's an area you got to be careful, especially around the rain time. This is also washed out. They had a little bridge here. Up to a little while ago they had a little wooden bridge. However, we had some very, very heavy rains coming into the latter part of last year. We had a lot of wash, a lot of damage that was done to the waterways over the east coast. Again, another really support bridges for any train used to run through this general area here as well. Just beautiful. We're going to show you a little area that's been put up here. We like to call it our Serenity Break. We stop here almost every time we vlog, you can take it in, and because it pays tribute and respect to some fallen heroes on this coastline, respected by us all over the island. So we're going to go over here and introduce you to that in a second. But as you'll notice, a lot of homes here now. These you will get to by coming through the Atlantic Hotel before you descend the hill to go into the tent day proper. You'll see a road goes off directly in front of you before you take that hill drop to your left. This is where you'll access these homes from. A lot of the folks out here do appreciate and enjoy what they have out here. If you're coming on these hikes or anywhere in Barbados, actually leaving, going anywhere in Barbados, take anything you take with you, take back home. Don't leave no litter around, please. This is a beautiful island. We don't need anyone littering this island for sure. So this is Amelie's Ocean View. Amelie was a notorious fisherman, only 16, but notorious fisherman, surfer, spear fisher, etc. He lost his life in one of the underground caves out here, or caverns out here. He got hit into one of them, could not come back out, and drowned unfortunately some years back. You'll see a lot of areas that have been along here that will be highlighting his name. He was an up and coming surfer and also an incredible human being. I didn't know him very well, but the little I did know of him, peaceful and kind guy. Alright, so this is what has been dedicated to him, along with ones further on. But have a look at some of the things that are on here, and this will give you an understanding of what we're trying to explain to you about people in this area. First of all, there is a bar on the top section and grill, and that is called the garage. So check it out if you'd like. And then we have neighborhood watch section. But look at the messages that we said: respect the spot, happiness, love, peace, smile, joy. So you understand the picture that we're trying to give you here. Just chilling. You can't ask for anything more than that. We're gonna take a seat right here on their bench. We're gonna let you take a breath here for a second. Not that I need one, but I'm gonna show you also a good area to demonstrate something else as well. But I'm just gonna give you a little bit of look around so you can take it in. Look at the fall away on that cliff over there. That's what you're gonna find a lot of, especially between I would say Congo Bay, the Martins Bay, and then Martins Bay to Glen Bernie. Really, really bad along that section especially. That's probably the most treacherous section of this whole train line hike itself. Demonstration of what we mentioned about slippage, etc. This gives us a really good understanding here. You can see how the lower section here has been eaten out. You would not see that if you go on standing steady cliff. If you're looking for photographs, you wouldn't realize it's all eaten out. So this here happens along where we're going now, but it's under the grass. You would not even know that it's there. So you have to be extremely cautious in these areas for sure. You do not want to go down there. First of all, your end of this roll will be coral heads that are not moving, shark are waiting on you, and then you roll going the entire way down there. Every hop, skip and jump is going to be painful, painful, painful. So stay away from the edges, please. But beautiful. I love how they've landscaped out here. It's absolutely stunning. Even better than last time we were here for sure. So when here looks like nothing to walk up, however, wet conditions, this will change your mind completely. Going up or down this section here can be absolutely treacherous. And I can tell you that because we've done it, talking from experience. But all along here as well too. So you have to be real careful. You know, if you are doing anything like this here, look for the solid rocks in it, or look for the root structures and use them as steps. Don't be frightened to hold on to a bush. And if you start to go, hold on to a bush, needles, pins, needles or prickles, whatever. It's better to hold on with them than take the fall. But you see how it's all slipping away. Now, this was cut years ago when we used to walk through here. The path would have been in front of here. But as the front has gone, this has been cut in the bush area. You can see how it's actually been chiseled. You'll find a lot of this here between Congo Bay and Martins Bay for sure. And you can actually see how they're trying to reinforce this section here for you to walk through, because it is extremely dangerous. This fall would not be a comfortable one. You know, it's very, very uncomfortable one, and then think how you can get back out. That is a concern. But always lean to 45-degree inland. If you're a little concerned about if you're a little bit wobbly or get a little bit off balance and thing, just do that. And also you can always hold on the bush, ease yourself through. All this section here has slipped since we came across here. This is all much, much closer than it was. I'll show you a little bit more as well. We hope you're enjoying this here. I don't know how many times I may have mentioned if I did at all, but we're at Barbados, the Journey 246. Our journey is about bringing the beauty of Barbados, which really truly is the people of Barbados and the people who live here and people who acquire the style of living here. And of course we have the scenery as well, but really the people of Barbados is the true beauty. But what we want to point out again is look at this overhang here. These are the things you got to be careful of. You know, a lot of people will come here to go and get that photo and step out on that little edge here because it's grass and not realize there's nothing below. Your body weight will bring that down for sure. So these are the things we want to make you alert to. All here, look, all under the grass here is all broken away. I'm pretty much stepping right on the edge where I am, and all under there is gone and it's still under grass. So you may not see that if you're walking out here. So please, you know, we are not saying these things because we're trying to frighten you. You know, if you know what is here and you prepare yourself for what is here, then you can deal with what is here. You will see where the original path went here. This was clear cut 2 years ago. We were walking that path there. You can see clearly what's happened. Again, we're going to point out this overhang here again. Again, it is grass on top. You're coming from the other side, you're not going to see that overhang. You're going to step out there to take a picture or look down the beach and bam, you're gone. So please, 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 as we always do, we're going to alert you to anything that we believe needs concern, because it's how we survive on this island, and this is how we want you to be happy, contented, and enjoy what is here to be seen. Beautiful. Again, you can see how this is going. It's only a matter of time now till they're starting to cut up in here. The hikers will cut up in here or walk up in here and start making new tracks, because it is going extremely quickly. Very, very quickly. The section between Tent Bay and Bash Bay itself, we used to actually drive under the hill by the community centre and around the actual cliff itself with the rocks, or right round to Bash Bay. I would say up to maybe 30 years ago, 25 years ago. Now you can barely come around there with two abreast, and in some areas you have to thin out to one abreast or one person because there's absolutely no width at all to step on. So from this side here to where you stop, where you have to go inland, I would say would be the better way to come if you want to see this trail line and you're a little bit challenged with balance or a little bit challenged with mobility. This would give you the easiest way to access it, but as you can see quite clearly, it is not the easiest to do. And if out here is raining, trust me, you do not want to be anywhere out here hiking or anything else. I know experienced hikers that come out, and many of them will tell you that you don't mess around out here when it's wet. You definitely don't mess around out here when it's wet. But beautiful. Now years ago, Tent Bay had in many fishing boats. You used to come down here and see maybe 6-8 fishing boats are moored off all the time. Nowadays you don't see any unless it's in the dead of summer and there's no rough seas or anything like that. You may see one or two that'll come out here, but majority of them lift in or out of the water. We'll show you that in a few minutes time. So all these areas that have steps on the beach, this is the steps. Now we talked about erosion, we talked about the land slippage. This is a case of both of them here. Erosion at the bottom and land slippage. The metal rods you see sticking up there would have been the inside bars that would have been for the train line, and it would run just through the water section there, going right the way up. So when we do this again at low tide, we will show you that. If you do not have things to do and you want to check around a little bit, have a look at some of our other vlogs we've done here, our live vlogs, sunrise vlogs and stuff, and taking some of that. Quality may not be as good as the 4K or as good as the new live quality ones we're putting up, but it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful adventures. Atlantis, this would be on the Matsu family. Synonymous with good food and better food. Was used a lot more in the past as a tour stop for a lot of the tour companies in the island. However, because of the bad roads in these areas and coming down into here, a lot of them have discontinued that. You can get down here in a car and stuff pretty easily. A bus, they're more challenging, but they still do it. Some still do it, of course, but not as used as it used to be at one time. All right, so beautiful Atlantis Hotel. We're gonna walk down to the end here, just past the boat, talk a little bit more, highlight a little bit more for you. The owners of here are affiliated with the fish spot, which is down, I think it's Sherman's in St. Lucie. So if you have ever, or St. Peter's, St. Lucie is right on the border. So if you're ever down in that area and you want to try out some food and stuff, fish spot, excellent food as well. And this is the Atlantis Hotel. Now if you also want to reside here, stay here, you can get accommodations here as well. They have rooms and suites upstairs, and they also offer these adjoining properties here as well, and you can get them the whole flat itself. They have swimming pool up in the upper section. We're not going to go up there into the hotel right now, but if you do look for Atlantis Hotel anywhere in our vlogs, you may find one or two videos or reels of it, because we've done all these areas in the past. I think we did a couple of pictures of the pool, but I don't remember if we have any videos up in the hotel itself. This is Tent Bay proper. You can hear the music upstairs. Their seating is all along here and goes right up through the inside section as well. They're notorious for their buffet, Sunday buffet lunches or buffet lunches. God, buffet, call it buffet. I take licks for it, but I don't mind. I'm too old to change my stripes now. So yeah, you'll find that they have some of the best buffets on the island. All right, so this is a new development here since we were here last time. This is the end of this big heavy road here. This is I don't know if it's to reinforce above, if it's maybe to move this to the eventual road, which is very possible, move it away from the hotel a little bit, but this whole section has been built up. You see a lot of problems in the past over here. Really terrible. Let's see if we see anybody on the side here. You know me already, malicious, I'm gonna talk to anybody. This is the back section, the pool is just located up there. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful pool and surrounding areas for eating, etc. Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings. All right, so Dover Beach Hotel all over the side here, bringing some folks over, so it's beautiful. All right, so we want to show you a couple of things over here that we think are worthy of mention. It's Amelie again. These are his toys, or toys that people associate with him and his life when he was younger. Also some rocks and dedications down below, and paintings as well. This is the Amelie area that's been sort of like set up by the fisher folks in this area and the families in his family. So we'd like to stop here for a second. We can take 20 seconds out just to take this in. And for all those that knew Amelie, this one is especially for you. Right, so I forgot to count and I forgot to take the time, so you may have had a little bit less or a little bit more, but either which way, that dedication was for Emily. Again, we've seen a lot of changes in this area since we started. Oh, you good, buddy? Good?
Yeah, man.
Maya from way over the south side. All right, my brother. All right, so when we used to come down here, frequent down here as surfers, I always mention Ashley and Trot at this stage again because they're two guys that I lived with basically through my entire young age of beach surfing, etc. So they always are in my mind and in my heart. We used to come up here quite often, walking and stuff. A lot has changed. Originally, I had a little cultural centre that was up there. You may remember that, like an oblong building. That has completely changed now. We'll tell you more about that there in the actual description. But you can always have a look at their cultural centre up there now, or the beautiful facility up there. We used to drive up and down this hill here, believe it or not, up to like 3 years ago, up and down. And as we said, we used to drive around here. Now that goes from the width that you're seeing there down to I'd say a footpath. It's very, very risky as we go a little further. Not very risky, but gets a lot narrower. We'll take you over there by that rock. That's where we're going to end our vlog today. But again, Emily, highly thought of, highly remembered. So, and this area has changed a lot. You can appreciate all down here. You used to have fishing boats. You can't even see any buoys in the water right now. So you understand it is not used regularly as it used to be. So we've done quite a few views from on top of this hill here. We've done a lot of vlogs in these general areas. Just put in Bashba if you're interested in seeing more. We've done many out here. Many lives, because we do get a fairly good signal in most of this area. At least up to that rock, and then from beyond that rock. But there are a couple of difficulties right where we are. We can never get a live signal between this rock here and past the Atlantis Hotel, or boat with the Atlantis Hotel. Just under there, no signal whatsoever. So generally we would not get this little piece here that we were walking on, but this is beautiful as well. Again, this is being cut recently. This is not usually like this, but it's preparing for the hiker season that's coming up now, which is coming up through the winter for all the visitors that are coming in and people will be walking this here. You guys will just make it as clean as possible. So also it goes up to a point where there's another dedication to Emily, which we're going to take you by and we're going to show you as well. So all along this section here, you can view from right along that section here, along the top of this ridge here. It's all in the park now, it's section that goes to the centre. So you can always have a hill crest and have a look and see what it looks like. But as I said, we used to drive through here comfortably. And I thought, like, in those days, I had a Nissan 1600, so it was a general saloon car. It wasn't a super wide car or a big truck or anything like that. However, we used to drive across here, in cars. No, that's impossible. But this whole section has been maintained here because of what we're about to see. So kudos to whoever's done this here. I think this is absolutely beautiful. This is very, very important. I know it took a lot of effort, a lot of sweat, possibly some tears, but thank you again for doing this here. This is beautiful, just in time for our video today. Perfect. Alright, so we can take you over here with the plaque. We're then going to show you the bench that's been also laid that goes with this plaque as well. And then we're going to end off our video there at this stage again. We will pick back up on the 4Ks later, but I'll tell you, or further down the 4K, I'll tell you about that later on. But we just want to get down here and show you this plaque, let you read it for yourself. Here we go. As I said, we've done quite a few sunrises from this point here, so you can always have a look through our live vlogs and stuff and get them in that section. Remember, we have everything accessible through playlist, so we have some stuff that we've taken a little bit further away in the archives, you know, because we're just trying to keep it a little bit cleaner and tidier. But we have lots of stuff dating back to our original start. And again, this here was presented again, so here we go. This is presented by the Bill Thompson charity. So again, Bill Thompson, synonymous with surfing on the East Coast and Bashba, etc. Alright, we're going to take it just a little bit. We're not taking it further because we said we are not going to take it any further. We'll leave that for the next one. What I will show you is how this area beyond where it's being cleaned up and stuff goes away. That used to be a road big enough to drive a car around. Now, as you get further on, there's absolutely nothing to the side of the path. There's a complete drop off like we've experienced on the way down our last walk. Thank you again for joining us on this part of the train line. This is in a section called The Hidden Beaches and Treasures of Barbados. It's a section that's designed for 4K resolution. It is designed to bring you into areas that you would not generally see, and if you have seen them, well, to share a light on them again for you, because some of you may have come here once, may never come back again. Some of you may never visit, and we want to make sure that Barbados is seen by all. You know, we took a lot of stick when we started off our vlogs. We get down a little less windy area so we can talk maybe just behind this bush. We took a lot of stick when we started our vlogs about showing secret spots, secret surf breaks. There's nothing called secret. It's the beauty that God has given us. So there's no secret in it. It is a beauty that we're going to share. So if anyone is upset or offended by us going into off-road areas and showing people the outback of Barbados, well, so be it. We are not asking anyone to understand us in any way, but we're not going to let anyone tell us how to conform or to be in our journey. So that is how we live our lives. Right, here now down, we will cover again in 4K. We did a loop of the George River, which took in Pearl Spring itself. That was a while back, again in Hidden Beaches and Treasures. A majority of the areas between here and the actual, not these first rocks, not the second rocks, but the furthest rocks, the distance of where George River is. Just so you see a blue roof just in front of that, close to us. That is George River Loop. You can have a look at that in 4K resolution. We've done that for you. And between here and there, and then from there right down along through Morgan Lewis, through Walkers, right down into Pico Tenerife, we've done in either live or 4K, but mainly live videos. We are not, this a new playlist. It's something we started last October when Jeanette went away for some health reasons, and it's a baby she's been talking about for years. So we're picking up bit by bit, and we are going to be trying to do everything in 4K for you so you can actually enjoy it. But doing it in 4K the way that we do it, and that is the journey to 4-6 way, and that is step by step, side by side. Thank you for joining us again. We are Barbados, the journey to 4-6. If you're tired of all the negativity, come and join us, man. Come and walk with us. Be a part of something different, you know, because our journey is about love and kindness and happiness. We don't have any room for controversy, negativity. You know, we don't pollute our environment. Our environment is a pure, clean environment, and we want to make sure that anyone that comes in with our family or joins us as we walk, you know, is a part of that energy, positive energy that we're trying to get around the world, and love that we're trying to project off and give away to people freely. This is because that's the way the journey is, and we're not letting anything pollute that. So if it is not the type of channel you enjoy, not the type of thing you enjoy, not the kind of people you like to be around, well, we understand why you will not be here. So you know, we are asking you just to respect the way that we live, and if you come and join us, enjoy it, and join us in the way that we are, and that's in positivity and bringing light, trying to take the edge off of this world. You know, every day we're hearing about people who are going through mental, physical, you know, and spiritual challenges. We know how difficult it is because we go through it as well. Every day we have to say our serenity prayer. Every day we have to pray. Every day we have to thank God. I have to thank God for my sobriety. Every day we have to thank God for our lives. Thank God for what we're living in. Thank God for the blessings that we have. You know, it's not something that we can do today and then not do it tomorrow, and not do it yet. You have to live it. If you want to live, if you want to enjoy love, enjoy freedom, enjoy happiness, enjoy peace, enjoy respect, enjoy serenity, you have to live it. That's the only way you can be a part of that. So come and join us, be a part of something different, leaving negativity for others. Come and join us. We are a happy family, and I want you, as long as you're interested in joining us, come and share your love and energy with us, because that's what stimulates us, energizes us, and inspires us. So on behalf of Jeanette, cute puppy, myself, like I said, Josie at the stage again, we're not cute, but myself, all those who walk with us, thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to walk with you. It's been a pleasure to bring this beauty to you. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and hopefully you keep your eyes open for other ones that we have done in the past, and also ones that we intend to do in the future. Have a blessed day, and it may not be any significance to anyone watching this because the date changed, but we're about to make our way up to Edge Hill now, so we can do our Q preview for tomorrow's community. Catch you all later, and see you then. One love from everyone all the time, and enough respect. Peace out. Catch you later.